Being taken for granted is never a good feeling to actually have. We want to be mutually respected and also have our mutual energies and valuabilities shared rather than be taken from. So let's do an EFT tapping on this. So taking full responsibility for your own well-being and repeating after me as we begin to tap. And let's go with that flow. Even though I'm being taken for granted, who I am as a person, my values, my qualities from another person are being taken for granted. And it leaves me feeling worn out. And it leaves me feeling disrespected. And I'm open to loving and accepting myself. Even though I don't want to be taken for granted. And it's left me wondering, how does this other person see me in this relationship, in this give and take? And I'm open to loving and accepting myself. Even though all of my experiences, people seem to mimic or take for granted that I'll always be there for them. And who I am as a person will be their adaptation for themselves. And I'm open to loving and accepting myself. I'm being taken for granted. My values and qualities seem to be valuable resources for someone else who perceives me as someone they can freely take from. They've granted themselves permission, or perhaps I've somehow given them permission to freely take of myself. They've granted themselves that permission, and permission has been granted to my valuable qualities, to my life experiences, and to who I am as a person and how they perceive me for themselves. Because I'm always there for them. I'm always there to be of service, to take care of their needs, to fulfill their needs. And somehow my needs never get reciprocated in this give and take relationship, in this back and forth. And rather than a give and take, either over time or maybe in a short term, it's become a take and take relationship, a one-sided relationship, where I'm always to be there for someone else and they're never there for me. Some messages that I send never get responded to. But as soon as they have a need, I'm there to be expected to take care of that. And if I don't, I get seen as a letdown by a person that can't attend to their own needs. My valuable qualities, or more and so my valuable self, never gets the reciprocated value. I might do a lot for other people, but when it comes to myself, and when I have a lack or something that I need help with, everyone seems to have excuses. Everyone seems to be not available at this time. And over time, that develops a pattern where I'm always giving and never receiving in return, never receiving that value in return, always there to be of someone else, or someone else. And they're never there for me. So it does become a take and take relationship. And some people really like to make pretend that they're really there for me. Because I do have some valuable qualities. I might have some wisdom. I might have some agreeable aspects that they truly resonate with. And they want to be around that reverberation, be around that good music, that good information, that good advice. That on the surface, it seems that they're taking. It seems that they're absorbing. But they don't seem to be applying. They more seem to be taking and adapting for themselves a new persona based on my skills and experience. A very shallow existence, as it didn't go through the same learning, the same heartache, the same trial and failing. It merely wants to absorb and adapt and project as something for their own. A copy of a copy of a copy. And never crediting, never acknowledging the lineage of where the source of the information came from. Kind of like plagiarism of self. Kind of like a use and abuse. Because that person, being myself, is just there to be taken for granted. They won't mind. So I'll steal their mind and try and think for myself. Maybe they'll express gratitude. I'm truly grateful for you and who you are as a person, as I take and take. And the more that I express gratitude and give nothing in return, kind of feels like an apology that really doesn't elicit any change. It's kind of like doing something wrong. Saying sorry is a platitude. Learning nothing from what I had to say in those experiences that hurt me. And just continuing on anyway. Hey, I said sorry. Get over it. Hey, I said I was thankful. What are you, ungrateful? That I took of your experiences. You never really gave anything in return. This reciprocating, this back and forth. Sometimes it will be one-sided. But as long as that balance returns back to a harmony, where we can give and take, I can give to someone else, and they can give to me. To share this value, rather than take of this value and devalue another person by not acknowledging their existence or their life experiences, not crediting the sources of which a person grows upon, the shallow foundation of self. And how did I get into this predicament where I was taken for granted? If every relationship is reciprocal, then someone else will see me in their eyes, as I will see them in my own eyes. To be seen and heard, to be recognized. And the more that I give to someone else, and the value that feels within myself, that this person, at least on the surface level, is acknowledging my existence, and what I have to say does make me feel good, does make me feel of value, makes me feel like my services as a human being are truly of worth, when in reality, it may have just been one-sided. They were mining me for my resources, didn't realize they were finite, and I am left burnt out and depleted and depressed and disrespected by a person that couldn't take care of their own needs and put plans into action, put advice into action that I may have been giving, wasn't receiving, was merely taking of myself. So I might want to start to put up some boundaries in order to respect myself, in order to realize that my energy is finite, that I do need to be there for myself, and in many ways, I'm impeding someone else's growth if I don't cut off that supply and allow them to stand on their own 2 feet and put these perceived learnings into practice so that they can learn for themselves and put theoretical knowledge into practical application. It's how I learnt my experiences, by constantly tending to someone else's needs and being everything for them and nothing for themselves. So I might start tending to my own needs. Start to recognize when I'm overreaching, when I'm not receiving, when I'm there for others and they're just not there for me. And start to recognize and start to resonate with that just easy feeling within myself. And honestly ask myself, am I happy with this relationship? And am I happy with this relationship with self? Perhaps I can give value to my own self by having relationships where I'm not seeking approval from someone that sees that approval as something to be freely taken from and to be taken advantage of. I'm going to self-respect myself. I'm going to self-care for myself by seeking out care from caring people who do reciprocate that back, that do give and take, who are there for me, just not in theory or even in nostalgia or in name only, or just simply by theory. I want practical application of a reciprocal relationship. And I'm going to give that to myself as well. I'm deserving of love and respect. I'm deserving to know that I am of value. And in a weird way, I truly am valuable if people are out there trying to devalue me. But I won't take comfort in that. I will maintain my boundaries and share my wisdom and share my experiences, share my kindness, share my compassion for when I see fit, and withdraw it when I feel that it's being misused. And there's that old saying, absence makes the heart grow fonder. And that's very true. For people who are very true about themselves in their healing journey, that do resonate with some decency and do recognize that their behaviors may need changing. And there is absence that makes the heart grow fonder, which is kind of like cutting off a tab or enforcing a prohibition that once that source of supply is gone, they chuck tantrums, they kick up a stink, they name call and devalue the very thing that they were seeking value from. And it might be a sure sign that someone was never there to care for me, that was there to take me for granted. Permission denied. Access revoked. Healing initiated, because that doesn't feel good. To be seen as an object rather than a human being with human values, human qualities, that at least within myself, I do respect. I'm taking care of myself by maintaining my boundaries and granting myself the permission to say no to those who want to freely take of me in mind, body, and spirit. And take a full breath in and out. So yes, knowing that people don't have permission to take freely of us if we haven't given that permission. And if we find ourselves going, it always seems to be one-sided here, maybe starting to bring a bit of equilibrium to a relationship by having your own self-value and own self-worth, which might not be met with actual compassion and understanding, because it's cutting off kind of a sources of dependency for a person, similar to if you've got a drug of some type and cutting off that, they'll go into a withdrawal. And people in that stage don't really have the best of behaviors, so that may exhibit, but that's also a sure sign to say that, you are worthy of respect. And if they're shouting disrespect at you, then it's time for them to go on their healing journey, and for you to also go on yours to heal from that, because it's never nice to experience, but also to know that you are of value, you are of worth, and you're not there to be disvalued. So I'm Dion from Eflowtion Support Services. I offer EFT tapping one-on-one online. Being on one-on-one online is reciprocal rather than a one-way. So I will be able to attend to your ever-changing needs as they change as we tap upon them. So check out eflowtionsupportservices.com. And in the meantime, check out the other videos, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.